Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday night video. Rapid Fire is back, and I have got Jeffrey Reddick here, the director of a new film called Don't Look Back. He's also the guy that created the Final Destination franchise. How's it going, Jeffrey?
I'm good, Glenn. You're gonna rapid fire on me?
I'm about to let loose.
Bring it on, brother.
Let's go. Okay, you are a Kentucky native. Do you drink Mountain Dew?
Yes.
Excellent. That's Kentucky. Kentucky's the highest selling region in the world for Mountain Dew.
Oh God, it's so addicting. They put so much sugar in it. It's got like 3 times the sugar of regular soda. So it's like the crack of like sodas.
We had a documentary made in Australia called That Sugar Film, and they set most of it in Kentucky.
It's true.
All right. Well, then, related to that, what's your favorite beverage of choice?
My favorite beverage of choice is water now, which is so boring. Yeah, it's so boring.
Do you at least put a bit of cucumber or lemon in there?
No, the thing is, my beverage of choice used to be iced tea, ice green tea. But since COVID happened and the Starbucks closed, I got too lazy to make it at home. So now I just drink water. But it used to be green tea. Up until COVID, pre-COVID, it was ice green tea, hands down. But
let's go with that then.
Yeah, ice green tea.
All right. What was the first movie you saw at a cinema?
It was called I think it was called Pom Pom Girls. The only reason I'm laughing is it was a rated R movie, and my mom was a little bit of a hippie hillbilly. And so her and her friends like snuck me into me and my sister in the drive-in, and they made us sit with our backs to the screens during a lot of it, so we couldn't see stuff. But it was it was Pom Pom Girls or something. It was something cheerleaders and Pom Pom Girl. It was something like rated R comedy.
Fantastic. That's a great answer. And what was the first VHS you rented from a video store that you repeatedly watched as a kid?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, good answer.
Yeah.
The first horror film I ever saw when I was 6 years old was Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Yeah, that one, it just wasn't. After how scary the first one was, it's just like the second one just wasn't a scary film.
No, it wasn't at all. It's funny how that's actually gained a legacy over the years anyway. But it was, I guess, with like I've got a fascination with part 2 sequels, as all of our viewers know, and my wall is covered in part 2, debut. And Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is one of those ones where they tried to, I guess, once you've got a first film, there's not really a law in place. You can kind of go from that in any direction. I guess part 2 tried and failed.
Yeah.
And then number 3 had to bring it all back.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Director Steve Miner is a particular favorite of us here at Good Movie Monday, and you worked with him on Day of the Dead. What's he like to work with? He
is so nice and chill. Like he's because he's been at it for so long. Like he was so nice to work with. Like he was, because I the same way. Like he was hired on the Day of the Dead remake before I got hired to write it, and they hired me based on a pitch that I did. But then throughout the process, they kept making me change a lot of stuff. So what I got hired to write and what we ended up shooting are 2 different things. But that's a whole other story. But Steve himself was just. I mean, I was so nervous. I was excited. I'm like, I get to work with Steve Miner. But yeah, he was just so cool. And I went down to set and I got to play a zombie. And he was just on set. He was just very cool and, never raised his voice because he didn't have to because he knows what he's doing. He's just a great guy. Very nice.
I think I know the answer to this next one, but do you have a favorite Steve Miner movie?
Friday the 13th Part 2.
Oh, wow. That's not what I thought you'd say. That's awesome. That's a good
one. No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. No, wait. What am I saying? Halloween H2O. Halloween H2O. Sorry.
Really? That's very cool. I thought you were going to say House or like Warlock.
No, the funny thing is I love House and Warlock, but Halloween H2O was such a great movie as far as like a character that we've known for so long and loved and how they tied everything together. But I do love Friday the 13th Part 2. But my favorite is Halloween H2O.
Excellent. Good choice as well. Big fans of it here. Do you pinch yourself whenever you consider the fact that you've created one of the biggest franchises of them all?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a very humble person, so I just never think of it that way. Um,
Yeah.
I just never think. My friends have to remind me sometimes, especially when I'm going in for job meetings and stuff. They're like, "Dude, you created one of the biggest franchises in horror," and I'm like, "Okay." um, so, but I do, yeah. When I
It's
get
something
log
that
truck memes,
yeah,
when I get log
it's
truck
something
memes,
it's something that like people like me definitely are aware of when we talk to you. That's for sure.
yeah, and it's funny, like 'cause sometimes I'll be out somewhere and I'll hear people talking and they'll be like, "Oh man, we just had a Final Destination moment," and then you're like, "Wow, like it's part of the zeitgeist," you know? It's yeah, it's just as a horror fan, like just
Yeah,
honestly as a horror fan, like I've always said this and I mean it, like I don't want to die tomorrow, but I could die tomorrow and be happy just as a
yeah,
fan, knowing that I did something that people are going to remember. So because that's the dream growing up,
yeah,
is like to do horror. Um,
for sure. And I believe there is a sixth installment on the way. Is that something you have your hands in?
my hands are not in that, and I know that they were developing a part six before COVID hit,
Mm.
and then they had to put everything on hold once COVID hit. So and by developing, I mean they're still at the script stage. So I know
Yeah,
I keep seeing a lot of stuff online where it's like they're shooting, it's been shot. And it's like no. They were at the script phase before COVID, and when things kind of get back on track, they'll be back at the script phase. But there's definitely one being planned, which I'm excited about. I'm
yeah.
just
And
yeah
they've just brought Saw back with Spiral, so sort of some of these things are coming back in fresh ways.
yeah. I think that's going to be my first. We'll see how I feel on Friday. I've been vaccinated. That may be my first movie
Okay.
in the theater because I really want to see it in the theater. It's just I'm still a little nervous.
I'm seeing it tomorrow night at a press screening, but by the time this goes online, I will have seen it. So definitely keen for it. That's for sure.
Well, just let me know. Just let me know privately. You don't spoil anything, but just be like worth seeing in theater.
All right.
Wait for home.
Okay. I'm
Thanks.
pretty honest with those things. Sure.
Thank you.
All right. I got a really controversial one for you here. Does ketchup belong in the fridge or the cupboard?
um, I keep mine in the cupboard, but my mom
So do
always
I.
put hers in the fridge.
Yes, I'm the same as you. We also have that. We have that debate down here with Vegemite as well. Does it belong in the pantry or in the refrigerator?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just because I don't like the ketchup cold,
Mm,
but my mom always did keep it in the fridge.
there you go. Wow. See, we're learning things about you. Have you ever been to Australia?
No, and it's literally Australia and London are like two of my dream locations I want to go to. Um, I just haven't had a chance yet, so I'm like either I'm gonna have to write something set there so I can just go, or I'll just go at some point when I've got the time.
Well, you are most welcome, that's for sure.
Yeah,
All right, another controversial one. Do you prefer the bed sheets tucked in at the end or untucked?
mine are untucked, but I'm lazy. So, but
That's
maybe I'm
probably a
rebelling
fair
against
point.
my mom because my mom was she would tuck them in and everything, and I'm like, I'm a big boy now. I don't have to tuck this shit in, so I never tuck my bed sheets in. I put my what's that? The thing that you put around the box springs? The You know what sheet I'm talking about? The fitted
Oh
sheet.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
putting that on wrong for so many years. And my friend, like just a month ago, I was talking to my friend about. He's like, "Dude, you're putting it on wrong," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Upside down, around the wrong. Who knows? How do you
Yeah,
get
I
that
don't.
one?
Apparently, I don't know much about how to put bed sheets on.
Exclusive. All right. All right. I got two Kentucky related questions. Firstly,
Okay.
are bourbon balls as good as they say?
Yes.
Excellent. What is a bourbon ball?
I don't. Well, let me go back. I don't know exactly what it is because I quit drinking like 14 years ago. So So every time I've gone back to Kentucky, I haven't drank. But I know Kentucky bourbon is like the best bourbon
Yep.
in the world. So anything with Kentucky bourbon in it is going to be better than any other bourbon, hands down.
Brilliant. I can't wait to go there. Got lots of friends in Kentucky, so definitely one day when we can travel again, I'll be there to sing
You'll
a few.
love it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. The people are nice. You'll love it.
Excellent. And as a Kentuckian, can you explain to us what the fuck a hot brown is?
You know what? I don't know what a hot brown is, but people have different names for the same thing depending on what part of Kentucky you're from. I'm going to do something really quick if you don't mind. I'm just going to Google hot brown because I want to see if I call it. Because I want to see if I call it. I want to see if I call it something else. A hot brown is an American hot sandwich. Open face sandwich. Okay, it's a piece of bread with turkey on it and ham and bacon covered in like a Mornay sauce, which is some kind of yellow sauce, and then has tomatoes on it, and then they bake it. So
it just looks weird.
It does look weird. We were too poor to have those fancy kind of things in our house. I made pizza with a piece of bread, cheese, Parmesan cheese, and then sprinkled bacon bits on it, and then I would heat it in the oven. That's the pizzas that we had growing up. So those hot browns are fancy.
Get that fancy food out of here.
Yeah.
Finally, your new film, Don't Look Back. Everybody should check it out, by the way. But this movie was made several years after the fact of your short film. How much harder is it to make movies now compared to sort of back then, or even when you were working at New Line?
The positive thing is it's hard to make studio films now, and the reason is that if you look at what the studios are putting out, they put out remakes, sequels, something based on best-selling books, something with whoever the big star is at the moment. So the studio bandwidth is so small now that it's hard, unless it's not a sequel or a remake, to get something made at a studio. The good news is now with all the streamers out there and everybody starting their own channels, there's a lot more need for content. So there's a lot more opportunity for people to get their work out there. Getting investors is always a problem because then they want a star attached, but then the star won't attach unless you get an investor. So you always got to play that kind of, cat and mouse game. But if technology has gotten so much better, you can shoot like 4K on your iPhones now. So the opportunity to make films and get it seen by people has never been better because equipment's affordable. You've got streaming options out there that weren't there before. So there's never been a better time to be a filmmaker. I just tell, whenever I talk to like filmmaking courses and stuff, don't have your goal be, I have to do a movie for Paramount, again, because it's such a machine there and there's so many other options to get your film out there. So never been a better time to be a filmmaker because of equipment and what you can do for little to no money and the options to get it out there. Just get that going first and then you'll get a studio film,
Sage advice indeed. And Jeffrey Reddick, you survived the rapid fire. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. I'm glad I survived.
And to all of our the people that are watching this that may have stumbled across this video first, there's actually a full interview that we have on the Good Movie Monday podcast. If you just look up Good Movie Monday anywhere you get your podcast from. Thanks so much for hanging out, mate. It's been so much fun.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me, Glenn.
Video of the assault in Bristol Park. Several bystanders stood by and just watched a man get beaten to death.
Sir, wait, you can't go in there.
Are you arresting them?
They didn't break any laws.
They let my brother die.
That's the guy who did this.
How can you live with yourselves?
I don't think he killed himself.
There's no evidence anyone else was inside in his apartment.
It's not a coincidence. It's karma.
What if she's right?
Caitlin,
I felt something.
it's just a coincidence.
Karma is a force, which means it can use people, but it can also use things.
What the hell?
The death of the Good Samaritan.
Have you guys experienced anything weird? A presence?
I told the cops everything I know.
Well, we've got everyone working this case. We haven't caught the guy. Forensics is running the DNA.
I'm just a little worried. He's out there, and now he knows who we are.
You have a habit of turning up when people die. One time I can write off as coincidence. Twice I get suspicious. 3 times? Well, no one's that unlucky.